Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, but at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
May we put our right hand on our shoulders or our heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a mayor under whose leadership the city of Columbus was named America's Opportunity City.
We've emerged as a center of investment across a variety of industries.
Mayor Ginther, Columbus State Community College, and other leaders here are committing to quadruple the number of students trained for technical jobs.
We are here because of you, because of your partnership, your investment, and your interest.
There has never been a greater need for this crisis center.
$800,000 is heading to the Eastland community. That money will be used as part of a revitalization plan heavily centered around the old Eastland Mall.
Columbus City leaders are moving forward with plans to build a new police substation in the Hilltop.
The annual gun buyback is just one of many initiatives to reduce violence across Central Ohio.
Columbus has seen the second largest reduction in homicides so far this year.
Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant says in the first quarter of this year, homicides and felony assaults are down significantly compared to the same time last year.
We want everyone in this community to feel safe and welcome.
Through CPD's Operation Unity, officers made 20 felony arrests, recovered a stolen car and 13 guns, and seized more than 4,000 grams of fentanyl and cocaine.
Operation Moonlight is focused on big events that bring big crowds.
We'll continue to leverage every tool and resource at our disposal to keep Columbus safe.
Since May, police have conducted Operation Wheels Down, a monthly sweep targeting illegal ATVs and dirt bikes.
What our young people need are people that actually care and that can show them that they care and actually take them under their wing and show and spend time with them.
Today, the city of Columbus announced nearly $21 million for summer programs for kids.
We've seen a direct connection between the investments we're making in prevention, intervention, and enforcement.
I think we're ready to cut this ribbon and open this pool. You guys ready? Yeah!
2, 3.
All right!
It's been more than 2 years since the Columbus Promise program started. In that time, the program has sent more than 1,200 Columbus City School students to Columbus State, many of whom thought college was never in their future.
Recycling supports jobs and it helps communities thrive. That's why, beginning on Monday, June 12th, curbside residential recycling collection is going weekly. we're targeting and forgiving liens for homeowners who have remained in their homes for at least 10 years.
From the groundbreaking in 2022 to the ribbon cutting today, the Topiary Park Crossing apartments are officially open.
I said when I became mayor, my top 3 priorities were going to be neighborhoods, neighborhoods, neighborhoods. We are one of the bright spots in America. There is hope and optimism in this community. The sun is always rising in Columbus. And because of that, because of all of you, the state of our city is strong. Good evening, neighbors. I'm so excited to be back with you for my first in-person State of the City since 2020. Thank you for being here and tuning in tonight. I especially want to thank all the elected officials that and our community partners that have joined us as well. Really appreciate you all being here. We're here tonight in the heart of our city in the historic King Lincoln Bronzeville neighborhood, home to the historic Lincoln Theater, our gracious host for this evening. Nearby, we have Batiste, a family-owned business with an impressive 8 decades of success under its belt, and the mayor's family's personal florist. And the Delphi Bank, which made history last year when it opened its doors as the first Black-owned bank in Ohio. This neighborhood embodies resilience, creativity, entrepreneurship, and innovation, and it has experienced tremendous growth, welcoming new neighbors and honoring its past, an example for all of our neighborhoods to follow as we continue to grow as a region. Columbus, a bright and boundless future awaits us. The horizon is full of opportunities that promise to take our city to unprecedented heights. Yet, this journey requires more from us than mere passive observation. It demands we have the courage to dream big and the audacity to make those dreams a reality. The next 10 to 15 years will determine whether our parents, kids, and grandkids will be able to afford to live in this community and thrive. We want the very best for them. We owe them that much, especially after all they've been through these last few years. We cannot simply allow events to come at us. We have to take the reins and shape the future for ourselves. We must be purposeful and intentional in all that we do, all through the lens of equity. We're committed to pursuing growth that is both dynamic and inclusive. We're on this journey together, so we must ensure that shared prosperity reaches every family in every neighborhood across Columbus. This work springs from a simple idea. Where you start shouldn't dictate where you end up. This applies to virtually every aspect of life. Whether it means living in a neighborhood confronting crime to living in one that is safe, stable, and secure at all times of the day. Or renting, going from renting a home to owning a home. Or moving into a neighborhood that better suits the changing needs of you and your loved ones. Or ensuring access to efficient, reliable transportation that connects you to the essentials of life. Or fostering an environment where upward mobility is squarely within reach. We want everyone in this community to see themselves in our city's future. And I'm truly excited about all that lies ahead. We'll continue to focus on advancing safety, transit, and housing. Those are my top priorities for this year. They're indelibly connected, and they will remain critical as we become the economic juggernaut of the 21st century. But friends, this is a decade of action. It will require change. It will require conviction. But this is a pro-growth community, and we believe the sky's the limit in the city of Columbus. We don't want to just get bigger. We want to get better. This must include, first and foremost, safe and vibrant neighborhoods. And I'm proud to say we're bringing violent crime down while strengthening security and stability citywide. We are on the right path, despite an unfortunate uptick in violence in recent days. These incidents are completely and totally unacceptable, and they must stop. We will not allow these events to diminish our sense of safety or change the way we live. We will not allow a small number of people to destroy our sense of community. We will not be deterred from seeking progress or improvement to protect lives and livelihoods throughout Columbus. And we all have a role to play, and we need the entire community to step up. We refuse to surrender the gains we have achieved, including a dramatic drop in homicide. And although a single homicide is one too many, it's important to remember that homicides this year are at their lowest level in 8 years. Nationally, Columbus has seen one of the largest drops in homicides among major U.S. cities, while fatal domestic violence incidents and non-fatal shootings are also down year over year. This is in thanks in large part to Chief Bryant and all of our officers at CPD. They've worked hard to bring down violent crime and recover record numbers of guns from our streets, all while putting their own lives and well-being at risk every single day. This past week has been especially dangerous for our officers. More than once, our officers faced violent and reckless assault. Neighbors, anytime an officer is shot, disrespected, or attacked in the city of Columbus, it is a threat to all of us, and we're not going to stand for it in Columbus. Our officers deserve the best from us. We expect the very best from them, and we need each other to be successful. I'm grateful for their focus on building bridges with the community, leading to historic levels of crime tips, which have helped drive up homicide solve rates above 90%. And we continue to enlist the manpower, resources, and expertise of law enforcement agencies spanning all levels of government to rid our neighborhoods of the worst of the worst. One thing I'm particularly proud of is the Crime Gun Intelligence Center. This is a partnership between the city, Governor DeWine, and the state, and Director Steve Dettelbach at the ATF. Officers are telling me directly about its transformational impact. They're telling me it used to take 40 to 50 days to trace a firearm to other crimes or back to its source. Tracing is critical when you consider the fact that most crime guns tend to be used in multiple crimes. And now, thanks to this new center, they're able to trace a gun within 48 hours. This supports our record high case closure rates. It is why we continue to pursue the best and latest technologies to make a meaningful difference. Our momentum is impressive, but there's still much work to do. We're continuing to graduate 3 police recruit classes every year, up from 2 classes annually, which was the norm just a few short years ago. We're allocating historic sums towards neighborhood safety, more than $750 million in this year's operating budget alone. And we're investing capital dollars to equip our officers, detectives, and crime analysts with state-of-the-art facilities. Next year, construction will start on the new Hilltop substation along Sullivan Avenue. And we recently started readying the site of the new real-time crime center and public safety campus in North Linden, an emerging hub of actionable intelligence that will enable our officers to respond more quickly and effectively to calls for service. And although this facility won't be completed for another 3 years, we've stood up a mini real-time crime center to get a head start on providing improved services and response times. This is partially accomplished by centralizing and scanning the video feeds from thousands of safety cameras, which provide an objective perspective that can be combined with eyewitness accounts. In downtown, a network of public and private sector partners are collaborating to support the centralized monitoring of hundreds of downtown security cameras by early 2025. These cameras show what's happening as events are unfolding before our cruisers arrive at the scene, and this intel has proven invaluable in achieving the best possible use of our officers' time and delivering the best possible results for our residents. From identifying and tracking suspects and the vehicles they use to commit crimes, to locating missing persons whose whereabouts are unknown, we're already seeing signs of tremendous success, and we're excited to take this work to the next level. Make no mistake, our prevention and intervention efforts extend to the individual as well, the people most impacted by or likely to commit violent crime, along with all of the social and cultural forces that perpetuate the cycle of violence that we are all working to disrupt. That's why I created the Office of Violence Prevention, which has been up and running for over a year and held more than 400 community meetings, events, town halls, and conversations with our fellow neighbors. They hosted a gun buyback in partnership with CPD, collecting more than 340 firearms. They'll be managing the Columbus Violence Reduction Initiative moving forward. Neighbors, if we're going to be successful in continuing to bring down violent crime and keep it down in the years ahead, then it is vital that we focus our attention on the very small number of individuals who we know are responsible for committing the overwhelming majority of the violence. This innovative program is partly how we get there. And we're both pleased by its early progress and optimistic about its long-term potential.
Just being a part of that life, and understanding where it takes you, it's just not worth it. And a lot of the times, we lack the guidance because we don't have it. And because we don't have that guidance, we really don't know another option. Getting connected with people like CVR and people that really want to help you, it shows you that the grass is greener on the other side.
All of our participants are generated through the Columbus Police Department. They are using their intel to identify who is perpetuating violence. That said, community members do often reach out and ask for assistance for their loved ones or other members of the community.
To see an individual or see a family and just to see on their faces the possibility, there's power in possibility.
So when I was first introduced to CVR, I was really looking at it from a negative perspective because I was introduced to it from my judge and from my PO. It was good that I was placed there because I could be a person that's of influence to the people that's there, being in the life of gangs, and then what's the process look like to transition.
A call-in session is one of two interventions. This is a group intervention in person.
Law enforcement, along with community violence reduction and community moral voices and some other officials, meet together with them to bring a message of hope, help, and healing. It does allow the individuals to know that it's not just about law enforcement, but there are individuals who want to see them be safe, alive, out of prison, and in the community. CVR offers some tremendous resources, and the one that most of the individuals are looking for is, of course, a job. So there are job resources that are available.
One of the things they helped me do was connect with the Chamber of Commerce. That was kind of like a business course event. It helped me get some business information. That alone was a resource to help open a few other doors to kind of grow the business to the next level.
A lot of our participants are perpetuating violence to take care of their family members, their friends, their loved ones. And so if we can alleviate some of that stress for them by offering support for those individuals in their lives, maybe then that helps them stop the violence.
For the people that feel like they're too deep and want to make that change, just find someone that you're comfortable talking to, because a lot of people have those burdens but don't really have someone that they're comfortable venting to, and having people like CVR staff allow for you to be comfortable to vent but help navigate you through those feelings is the first step to get that transition.
As of March 31st, 2024, we have 117 people that have heard the message. And so of those, 74%, 87 individuals are safe, alive, and out of prison.
I see the changes and I see the difference that it's making in the community.
If you work hard and you play by the rules, you should be able to get to the things that matter most to you in your life. This requires that we connect the dots between work and housing and healthcare and education, recreation. All of these facets influence one another. In most cases, you can't have one without the other. What we must do now, is to link them together, using safe, reliable public transportation as our catalyst for change. For nearly 100 years, the growth of our city has been centered around the automobile, which paved the way for a car-centric transportation system. This just isn't going to cut it any longer, especially with 1 million new residents slated to arrive in our region over the next 25 years. Does anyone want to see 1 million more cars on the road? Do any of us want longer commute times, more traffic congestion, and increased pollution degrading our natural environment and quality of life? I know I don't. At the same time, a community that's designed and built around the use of a car has never been fair, feasible, or ideal for our neighbors who cannot afford or don't want to own a vehicle. This is where LinkUS comes in as our region's comprehensive transportation plan. It'll create a new, improved, and affordable mobility system across Central Ohio by installing at least 5 rapid transit lines, starting along West Broad Street, East Main, and Olentangy River Road, some of our major growth corridors. Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT for short, offers an experience that feels like light rail, moves as quickly as light rail, and can be up to 7 times less expensive to build when you look at the cost per mile. But we're not stopping there. We're also building more than 500 miles of bikeways, sidewalks, and trails and communities across Central Ohio, all within CODA's service area, to cultivate a network of neighborhoods that are more bikeable and walkable. Banding together as a region to do big things. This is how we'll create a more cohesive and connected region. And this is how we'll facilitate more convenient and affordable access to even more destinations. These planned investments will have a ripple effect too, spurring new development, reducing household transportation costs, and better connecting our residents with what they need. In fact, the first 3 LinkUS corridors will create access to more than 380,000 jobs at workplaces across the region over the next decade. Neighbors, this is the time to act. The time to act is now. And because of support made available by the bipartisan infrastructure law, which includes approximately $800 million in dedicated federal funding, we have a unique opportunity to bring about transformational change to our region. Tomorrow, CODA's board will vote to put a measure on the November ballot to support the build-out of LinkUS and commit further investments that will address growth, affordability, and opportunity gaps in Central Ohio. We want to be the most pro-growth and prosperous community in the country. And the way we get there is by supporting and empowering each and every one of our residents. Everyone must come along with us for the ride.
What I understand LinkUS to be is Columbus's version of putting more than their big toe in the mass transit space. For me, what LinkUS is a chance for communities to really begin to kind of rebound from some of the impact of redlining, where we can have some density in our neighborhoods. LinkUS becomes a pathway for those that might not have cars in a very car-centered community to begin to still have the viability of getting to work, recreating, and for our city to be able to move massive amounts of people into downtown and out of downtown without there being much disruption.
I, as a native of Columbus, I'm happy to see the growth, but I want to make sure that everyone equitably has the opportunity to take part in that growth. So 71 North, when it cut through Mount Vernon, was it had really harsh effects that I don't think the community ever really recovered from.
It's no question that we're going to see a lot more people coming. We're going to see a lot more business coming. With that, we do have to accommodate for the growing population and the growing stress on either highways, the city roads, kind of all these other things that come with a growing population, including housing. Having these bus rapid transit routes, having bikeways, having all these other spaces that are included in the LinkUS initiative shape a better future for Columbus.
It's really important to the economy for everyone to be able to actively take part in that growth and also supporting that growth.
So I lived in Cleveland for 2 years, and they were building this thing in the middle of Euclid Avenue that none of us knew what it was. It was called the BRT. And when that thing came, I gotta tell you, between the Cleveland Clinic and where I worked at the YMCA downtown Cleveland, was kind of a forgotten space. And what I saw happen was all of those spaces began to have restaurants, retail stores, a whole community between point A and B came alive. And what I look forward to seeing happen is all of these things beginning to be able to get accessed by people who used to just drive by. I look forward to seeing neighborhoods come alive and the secrets and the richness of neighborhoods that people used to think only they knew about will begin to be shared more broadly throughout Columbus.
In my vision of Columbus, I see an interconnected community full of green spaces, full of sidewalks and public space in which people can move around with ease at a low cost and oriented around people.
One of the ways you'll realize our city is really there and being uplifted is when I get on mass transit one night and I think I'm just going downtown to do one thing, and I'm on a bus full of people that are celebrating a Columbus Crew playoff game that I didn't even know about, right? Or I'm on there thinking I'm just going to the short north, and there's tons of people in town from somewhere else going to see an art exhibit somewhere I didn't know about. The spillover effect of just cultural richness that begins to share when we can have that third place that we share. And so as each of us goes into our own algorithm and we're looking at news that reinforces what we already believe, public transportation is a way that we can share a space, and I can meet people that aren't like me, and people who aren't like me might meet me, and we can be neighbors better, I think, as a result of a viable mass transit system.
The only way for us to realize our vision is to roll up our sleeves and do the difficult work. Work that's been brushed off or pushed aside, decade after decade, despite mounting pressures to act or move in a new direction. Neighbors, Columbus is a city on the rise. We are the heart and soul of this region, and our population is growing faster than we can build new housing to accommodate everyone. In fact, we grew faster than every other American city at the end of last year. And Morrissey projects Central Ohio's population will exceed 3 million by 2050. That's the most rapid and significant population growth we have ever seen. But at our current trajectory, we'll have fewer homes than families in Central Ohio by 2030. We have a supply crisis in this community. And whether you're looking for a place to rent, to buy a home, or to pay your property taxes, you're feeling how prices can rise when supply and demand are out of balance. This is particularly true for our most vulnerable residents, who are already feeling the squeeze most acutely. We must utilize every lever at our disposal to ensure that Central Ohio remains affordable so that workers, businesses, and families are willing and able to stay and invest in our community. The vast majority of our neighbors weren't born here. They came to Columbus for jobs, for opportunity, for love, for education. And then they stayed here and built a life here. That's why we've grown so much. And that's why we'll continue to grow well into the future. If we're able and willing to make more room for those who come here. We owe it to ourselves and our city's future to keep paying it forward. It's like my grandmother said, you should always have an extra place at the dinner table because you never know who will stop by. My parents instilled in me this same spirit and philosophy. It was an important philosophy in a home where 47 foster kids took a seat at our dinner table at one point or another over 30 years. And it's an important philosophy for our city, too. It's incumbent upon us to make sure there's always room for one more, to enjoy our quality of life, to contribute to our workforce, to get an education, and to add to the vibrancy of our community. And that's why we've undertaken the most monumental task of completely updating the city's zoning code for the first time in 70 years. We won't be able to pull up enough seats at our table until we change this zoning code. Here's what zoning reform gets us: clearer and higher standards to build new housing and businesses. Not only will this speed up construction, it'll allow for the kind of construction we need in order to keep up with the demand. And we plan to start by focusing on our major corridors, which 2 decades of community plans tell us is where our neighbors most want to see height and density. This again directly connects to LinkUS, marshaling our resources around areas of community that have experienced tremendous growth, and further closing the gaps between housing and transportation. We're also modernizing standards surrounding parking spaces and building design, abandoning the old era of one-size-fits-all, and tailoring our code to enhance the potential of individual neighborhoods through the creation of 6 zoning districts. This supports our overarching goal to pursue higher quality building design in all Columbus neighborhoods. These upgrades will lead to the construction of more housing, which boosts supply, lowers cost. Estimates suggest that our preliminary efforts to modernize the zoning code will produce 88,000 new residences, which represents about 44% of our region's overall housing demand. By being bigger and bolder in the design and capacity of new development, we are protecting and preserving affordability citywide. is keep more of our residents in their homes while reducing the financial burdens that many families are feeling. But if we want to build the housing we need at the prices we seek, then we have to incentivize it. Through this new code, we'll tether the ability to build taller structures with the requirement to include affordable units, to make even greater strides in fostering vibrant, economically diverse neighborhoods. And by widening the boundaries of the city's community reinvestment area policy to match the footprint of the entire city, we are now able to build more affordable housing without limiting construction to certain neighborhoods. Everybody needs to do their fair share. We think this is the right path forward. And to continue supporting the creation of affordable housing at a time when the cost of labor, land, and materials is at an all-time high. Tonight, I'm calling on the city's Building and Zoning Department to create a fast-track approval process for new affordable housing developments. So if you're ready and able to build housing for our neighbors who are struggling to pay rent, we'll move you to the front of the line. But Columbus alone cannot create all of the market rate and affordable housing our region needs to overcome our housing shortage. That's why I'm working with a coalition of public, private, and nonprofit leaders to spearhead and coordinate our region's housing efforts more proactively. Once this new regional coalition is officially online, we fully expect that it will be able to facilitate the construction of 200,000 new housing units over the next 10 years, which is what we need just to keep pace with demand. What's more, it will serve as a dedicated champion and steward for this crucial work. And it'll build upon all of the new policies we've introduced and the $250 million of bond funding that Columbus voters have already committed toward this collective community left to foster a healthy regional housing market. Perhaps you've picked up on a theme here. I keep using the word regional to describe both our challenges and our opportunities. That's because all of the most pressing issues of the day, from safety to housing to zoning to transit, involve all of our communities. If we don't work collaboratively, then we'll see growth affect our region in uneven and inequitable ways, widening gaps in opportunity and prosperity, and hindering both the speed and scale of our shared progress. We aren't growing separately or in silos. Our fates are closely intertwined. When we work together as a region, all of us benefit. The people of Columbus, those that live here, work here, study here, travel here, and those who are choosing to put down roots here. I will always advance and advocate for your best interest and do everything within my power to enlist the full, unfettered participation of others to maximize our collective impact. My challenge to our suburban neighbors is this: stand with us. Be part of the solution and contribute to the cause. There is too much on the line for the families we've been entrusted to serve. And I'm grateful to cities like Bexley, Whitehall, Grove City, and Reynoldsburg, and their leaders for going above and beyond by embracing growth and doing their part to bolster housing inventory across our region. We look forward to partnering with more communities as well. But I also have a challenge for the people of Columbus. Specifically, there are three things I'd like for each of us to do. First, lean in on Zone In. Learn everything you can about our proposed changes to the city's zoning code and share your feedback. Second, learn everything you can about LinkUS and make your voices heard this fall when the future of mobility will appear on your ballot. And finally, take it upon yourself to mentor a young person, to help light their pathway forward. There are multiple ways to do this, and there are several local organizations who make it their mission to lift up our city's youth. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Central Ohio, and the Columbus Urban League, just to name a couple of examples. The city, for our part, is investing nearly $21 million in summer youth programming, including $8.6 million that will support camps and programs at 90 nonprofits across this city. So join with us and consider lending a helping hand. This is a time for all of us to move beyond our comfort zones and take bold action that will make Columbus better. There's much change and transition coming to our region. We need to be welcoming of new neighbors, fresh ideas, and unconventional thinking. More than that, it's safe to say that we can all expect this year to be exceptionally polarized and divisive, with the upcoming election and all that is on the line for our nation here at home and abroad. But neighbors, we have an opportunity in this city to be that shining city on a hill, a place where we can have rigorous debate, discussion, and disagreement without acrimony, violence, revolt. Let's continue to be a beacon of hope for the rest of the country, welcoming folks from all backgrounds and beliefs and listening to what others feel or have to say. Respect matters. Dignity matters. Decency matters. Kindness and compassion absolutely matter. We're stronger together, so let us move forward together. For the sake of our children and all who stand to inherit this remarkable city in the generations to come. May God bless you, and may God bless the city of Columbus.